Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse. I am Amy, along here with my sister Molly. We help high-achieving women increase their income, but most importantly, their impact. We are neighbors, sisters, and business partners. We have built 8-figure businesses together, traveled the world together, raised our children together, mentored thousands of men and women together, and it's all because we have a penthouse mindset. We aim for the top, and we show others how to empower themselves to peel back the layers and truly step into their greatness and calling. Welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse.
Hello, this is Molly Kroeker, your host today, and welcome to Meet Me in the Penthouse, where we help high-achieving women not only level up their income, but their impact. And that's why I'm here today is I get to be your host because I just am coming off an incredible retreat that I ran virtually. Don't worry, we are working on something in person, but I really want to continue with where we are in the inner work, because if you're anybody like me, my background is a sports medicine physical therapist. And so I have that biology brain, biochemistry brain. I love physics. I love things that you can show me how it works and explain it. And so when I really decided to take the leap from personal development of shelf help that I was doing for the last 17 years of just reading, attending every free thing and then reading a lot, but not remembering what I read. I wasn't putting it into practice because I didn't know about the inner work. I didn't understand it. And so I hope that this podcast today is going to shed some light on what that means. Like, what does it mean to do the inner work? And so I want to start off first by reading something that I just absolutely love. And it's an author and it's on her Instagram, but her name is Brianna Wiest. I don't know if I say that right, but this is really important, is if you would like to change your life, you must first change the way you think about your life. Thoughts are not just thoughts. They are bridges and doors and entryways and foundations. They magnetize and repel. They can build a house and tear it down. They can energize momentum or keep you idling within your own little world forever. Thoughts are investments and they are decisions. The mind will generate an endless series of options, some inspiring and others terrifying, and so you must choose. You must choose what you will return to, what you will believe in, what you will place weight on, because thoughts create feeling, and feeling creates desire, and desire creates action, and action creates reward, and reward creates more desire. And before you know it, a thought becomes the torch that led you down the path that is your life. If you would like to change your life, you must first change the way you think about your life. There was never another way. And so this is really important. So I really want you to hear those words, because this is something that we preach all the time is, are you aware of your thoughts? And you can't do that all day long, right? It would be exhausting, but I want you to know that this has so much to do with who you're being, right? We talk about the becoming. And so in these contrasting times, it's who you're meant to be, but because of who you're being, you're already them. You already are them. It's just this remembering. Truly, you don't remember. So it's a remembering that we want to go back and kind of knock on that subconscious door and be like, remember? Don't you remember this? So I want you just to become, what our passion is really about teaching you self-identity, self-awareness. And a lot of times I've heard it explained as self-image, but I don't want you to think about the inner work being your self-image, because I don't want you to think it's about what you see physically on the outside. If you love the fact that your lips are full, or you love the fact that your hair is just absolutely shiny and beautiful, or you don't love your hair, that's not what I'm talking about. It's not self-image in that way. It is simply your identity, is who you are being. So that's what we're going to look at and really work on today in this podcast. So look at yourself with compassion, grace, and a loving perspective. You guys, if we just loved more, and that means loving ourselves, loved people more. I read even that this morning. Oh my gosh. In fact, I need to just share it with you all because it was so profound in a great little book called God Calling. And I loved what this said is be full of joy. Joy saves, joy cures, joy in me. How many burdens can you lighten this year? How many hearts can you cheer? How many souls can you help? So just be more love. And that means loving towards yourself. So again, when we're working from this place of self, of this new identity, I want you to come from a place of no judgment. This is something I am literally, it is the thing that I am working on the most, is coming from no judgment. Obviously, no gossip, no venting, but no judgment of myself or others, but especially myself, right? And again, I want you to look at all things. I'm not telling you everything is good, not toxic positivity in that way. There are things that are hard, there are things that are bad, but you were meant to feel light. And guess what? You'll attract the most when you are light. And so I want you to get into the light because when you're in light, it's easy and it's effortless. So I want you to look at our self-identity again. Okay, so what is the story that you are telling yourself about? Let's find a certain experience that you had, right? And the reason that that experience is real, it is real. You had that real experience, but you didn't have to be disappointed. That was a choice. I know that you're like, no, but Molly, yes, you're 100% responsible. And so if you chose to be disappointed, or you chose to be frustrated, or you chose to be mad at yourself, or be mad, I want you to have a beautiful awareness. I promise you, awareness is so much better than conflict. Awareness is so much better than displeasure. And awareness is so much better than judgment. Being aware of something is to observe it, to recognize it, and just to be aware, but not to judge it. Okay, I know what you're saying. Like, that is so easy to do, but it is a lot more involved than what you think. And so, again, come at yourself with compassion, grace, and a loving perspective, because we're going to work on those darn thoughts in our subconscious mind. So, speaking of that, I want you to know that when you are thinking of something that you would absolutely love, and we're going to talk about this here in a minute, but when you're working on wanting to manifest something, and that's just attracting something, right? Like you're really wanting to attract something, but we come from a thought behind a desire that says, well, you can't have it. That's too hard. You're not like Molly. You're not just positive like her. You don't have this, or you don't have a degree, or whatever it is, and you're too scared. You're right. It's not going to happen anyway, because you cannot attract something. You cannot manifest something from fear, lack, and limitation. It does not work. That's not how it works. So a lot of us, I'm going to use money because that is something, or weight, right? Health. I would love more money, but it doesn't seem to come to me. I would love to lose weight, but genetics are just against me. I would love my business to grow, but nobody wants to buy what I sell. Do you see where there's a but in there? We need to get rid of the fear, get rid of the but, and we're going to make it an and. I would love more money, and it's on its way to me. I would love my business to grow, and I know this year I'm quantum leaping. Do you see where you put the and in? And so it's never either or, because that comes from lack and limitation. It's always an and always remember this, and a with abundance, and creates abundance and prosperity. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this incredible masterclass, because that's what we really teach in our signature program, A View from the Top. And so use the word and, it comes from abundance and prosperity. And I know what you're saying is, but Molly, what if if I use the word and, I want I want the Gucci and the Prada purse, but I can't afford both. Come on, like I can't. No, you just make it a priority. I would love to purchase the Gucci purse, and I know that the Prada one is coming. So you can have both. You can. You can prioritize as well because we want both sides of that to feel positive, to have a high vibration, and to keep the experience in the subconscious. Okay, I'm going to say something that's really important, and I don't want you to miss this, is your thoughts cause your emotions. Your emotions control your vibration. Your vibration dictates your frequency, and your frequency determines what you attract. Okay, you probably need to go back and listen to that over and over and over because this is huge. So, one thing that we talk about a lot in our coaching is 3 questions, right? Who are you? That seems so easy. But I'm telling you, I have run miles and miles. I've spent miles and hours on my bike. And that is all I'll say to myself for the entire time. Sometimes for an entire 70-mile ride, I'll be like, who are you? Molly Kroeker, who are you? Who are you? Why am I here? And what do I want? What do I want? What do I love? Right? And a lot of times the ego is going to say, well, I don't know, because the ego wants to protect you, wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you comfortable. But we really do know what we want. We really do know what we want. We've just lost the ability to trust ourselves, right? We've lost the ability to live outside of ourselves. And instead, you're living inside yourself, seeking external validation. This is huge for all you people pleasers. We look to the world to tell us that we are enough. That was me. That was me for so many, probably the first 53 years of my life, 50 years of my life is seeking external validation. Who am I when no one is applauding? When no one is applauding, right? Working in the dark, we say, who am I when no one is applauding? The inside already knows. Your ego goes away, then your inner knowing has a voice. And I want you to see, how did it feel? Check in with that emotional state. If you don't, I'll say this, you don't change, you choose. And so we just want to reprogram your subconscious mind. That's this whole identity work. And this takes help. This takes help. It takes a knowing, it takes awareness. And so everyone holds an identity of who you are in this world. And that identity is constantly shifting. Are you loving? Are you free? Are you joyful? Are you angry? Sometimes that's me. I'll be totally honest with myself. I really needed to break up. Last year, a big focus of mine was to break up with the need to be right about everything. And so it's probably what a lot of you don't see, but it's something my husband sees and the people closest to me that love me, and breaking up with that need to be right. And honestly, the anger that changed everything. But you guys, I wasn't even aware of that until I did the work on myself. So every identity you hold has a feeling, and a little photograph in your mind, right? Is that feeling empowering or not? And a lot of times we replay the old feeling, right? And then that's when we get disappointed, we get fearful, we get angry, but you're going to choose a new feeling, being who you've never been before. And you hear us say it all the time, it's the becoming, but I didn't get that again because I didn't know what that work looked like. So I want you to know there's 3 tools of creation. There's thoughts, feelings, and there's actions. And this comes from a great author, Neil Donald Walsh. And Happier Than God is a great book. He also wrote Conversations with God, such great books. But just like I started out on this podcast, thoughts, feelings, action. What we speak, we reap. And so it's who you're being, right? And so what I want you to do is, when I get heavy in my Molly, when I get heavy in my, and I even heard this said in church last week, I love this because it's something that I truly believe is that we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. And then when we leave this earth, we're going to go back to being spiritual beings again. So a lot of times we can't see the fear when you're in the fear. And so one thing I really believe in that has drastically altered the way I think and then what I feel about what I think and the action I take is I spend time with myself. So that looks like a very serious morning practice that I do not take for granted, and it goes with me wherever I go. And so It is getting quiet with yourself in a meditation. Meditation is listening to God. Prayer is talking to God. So meditation, putting your hand on your heart, gets you out of your head. It gets me out of my head. It gets me into my heart, and not this sack of beating blood here that I'm tapping. It's not that, but into your mind, your body, right? It gets you into your soul. And so when I'm heavy in being Molly and get it up in my own way, then I get tired. I take things personally. I'm angry. I'm crying. Now, do I also feel love? Yes, but I feel that shift when I get out of my head and I get into my heart. So there might be times where I pull up to Whole Foods and I'm there for my lactose-free cottage cheese, me and the rest of the world. And I'm like, I'm going to put my hand on my heart sometimes. And I think the old Molly would care about, what do people think of me? Like, who's the wackadoodle, in her car with her hand on her heart, with her eyes closed? Now I think, oh, good. They're looking at me going, she's really taking great care of herself. So I'm getting out of my head and into my heart so that I can feel love and shift into a higher spiritual perspective. So that means that I can make great decisions. I can take action on thoughts and feelings I'm having. And that is the biggest thing, because awareness is the key to all of this. It is the key to all of this. And so I want you to notice what you're thinking. Again, what are you thinking? You might not notice everything, but something I want to just briefly mention here is back to money. Like, you might make the same amount of money. And this is something I've had many conversations with people over the last few weeks, is they're hitting that ceiling. They never make more. They just make the same amount, the same amount, the same amount. But they're living in lack and limitation, right? And we have a great wealth frequency class that you can actually purchase, and it walks you through some of these things. But the mind can tell you $10 is not enough, and it can also tell you that it's plenty. You get to decide that. So you can pay a bill and you could be miserable, or you could pay a bill and be grateful. You decide. And I'm telling you, when you get out of your head, you get into your heart with a morning routine, with a morning meditation, a miracle morning, whatever you want to call it, and spend some time in meditation, and then you heard gratitude. I promise you, it's a frame of mind. It's an attitude. This new shift in identity is a rise in consciousness. It's truly an ascension. So think new thoughts, be a new version of you, and you are going to experience life in a new and different way. And so if you'd like to know more, you're curious to know more, our signature program is A View from the Top, but we will be having a masterclass January 16th. It's a Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Check the show notes on how you can register. And honestly, if you loved this, like, subscribe, and share this, because this is the reason that I am where I am. Was I able to be successful by the hustle and grind and work and adrenal fatigue and sleeping 5 hours a night and proudly bragging about that for the last 20 years of my life? Absolutely. But you know what? That is an exhausting way to live, and I want easy. And so if I want easy, I got to let easy in. And so I knew that that involved a change in identity and who I am. And I love that old Molly. She's amazing. She got stuff done. She is liked by many people all over the world. Like, I love her, but it was time. It was time for 5.0, Molly. So if you're ready for that new identity shift, definitely join us January 16th. We'll see you there.
Thank you for tuning in today for Meet Me in the Penthouse with Sisters Amy and Molly. Please rate and review. We love those 5-star ratings and would love to have you go to our website at sistersnextdoor.com.